a little note on performance, which I think I've spoken about and probably will speak about a lot more because I think about it a lot. And I feel like it kind of affects a large portion of our life and what we do without sometimes knowing it, because the word performance, and again, I'm speaking in a spiritual context, because anywhere else, performance is just a good word. But when it comes to spirituality, for some reason, it's not, because we're trying to get away from that. And so when you hear it in the context of spirituality, we all kind of probably think, no, I don't perform like I serve, or whatever the case is. But I've realized, for me, like, as long as you're believing in separation, and what I mean by separation is that there's sacred, secular. There's times where God is with you, there's times where He's not, or His presence is with you, and there's times where it's not. Having no separation, I'm talking about like the finished work of the cross, as in Jesus came and paid it all and did it all. In fact, we were never separate from God. Jesus came to show us that, because as He is, so are we in this world, and He lived a perfect life with His Father in union. So He shows us, but then also goes to the cross and destroys our complete illusion. And in fact, I mean, we'll get there, but that's one of the lies, is that we are separate, right? From Adam, we were separated from God, and everything else has been a journey for us to get back there. But by that very means, getting back there brings in performance. And again, if you strip it down and look deeply, it's like it's actually there. And so believing in the finished work and no separation means that we're never separate from God. And because of Jesus, we're totally in. Like I say, I always believe we're in even before Jesus was just to show us exactly what the Father had it planned all along. But for this conversation, let's just say, even if you don't, since Jesus, we're completely in. We're never separate from Him. So therefore, there's nothing you can do or can't do that will get you more or less of. But often in our circles, and whether it's said or not, it's implied through who gets celebrated or what gets celebrated or what gets put on a pedestal, that the more you do, the closer to God you are. You read your Bible for an hour, that's like amazing. Someone reads for 2 hours, like, well, that guy's spiritual. He loves the Lord so much. And so it's like these little things you kind of pick up, and you start to, I think, without even realizing, like, a lot of the stuff you do, or at least for me, a lot of stuff I did, it was good, spending a lot of time in the Word, prayer, soaking, sometimes hours. It's all good, but if I had to ask myself deeply, a lot of it was because I was trying to be something. I was trying to earn something. I was trying to perform to get something that I already had. And again, because that sort of lifestyle is celebrated, the more you look good. And it's not that it was negative effects on me, because just spending time with the Lord, which we're doing everywhere now, is what I think. But there, you're obviously not thinking about anything else, and you're dedicated. So obviously it's going to bless you. The Lord's going to be with you. You're going to feel good, and it affects your life 100%. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying a lot of those times I was forcing myself to do it out of discipline, even because this is what I had to do to get to where I wanted to be. And I think in little ways, even, you see it popping up in your life that you didn't realize, like just certain things, like the have to do's to get. Like, I'm feeling far away from God, and I hear this in conversations, people all the time. Hey man, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. I just haven't been like reading my Bible lately. I'm so far. I need to just get back and read the Bible so I can be close to God again. And like, I get in theory what they're saying, but for me, that's performing, because you feel like you don't have something and you need to do something to get that. And the problem with that is it's a vicious cycle, because the more you do it, the better you will feel, but there will be times where you don't do it and then you feel terrible. And all this time you're thinking that you're getting more or less of, where you actually have it all anyway. It's just a matter of realizing it and accepting it and being like, hey, I have this. And wherever I'm at, don't need to do something to get it. And that's what they say religion is. Like, anything that tells you Sorry, I'm just driving and there was a little bit of a mishap in the road there. Anything that tells you like you are here, God is there, and this is how you get there, that's religion, and that becomes performance. Because that journey of how you get there can be done well or bad, and it can be done better by other people, and whoever does it better gets more favor or in the circles, and whoever doesn't generally ends up feeling guilty and shameful and condemned. And that's a large portion of performance, is like end up feeling, because you can't keep up, and again, religion, let's call it that as well, you can't keep up with the standards, you can't keep up with the pace, because you've got life that's happening. And because you're thinking in sacred, you're thinking there's a space where there's life and then there's spirituality, you keep having the normal life happen and trying to do the spiritual, but those take a knock, and then you feel bad, and then you're like, oh, I just need to pray, or I just need to, and then you take a day off to just spend hours praying or worshiping, or you go to the extra event, and this is a cycle. And I'm not like, again, I'm not pointing fingers or anything. I've just seen this over the years and years and years of speaking to people. Some of my strongest Christian friends still, I'll say, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a busy week. I'm good, but I just haven't spent time with the Lord like I need. And I get it. And again, that's not a bad thing. But what for me is the bad thing is what they're saying is that in my week, like, spending time with the Lord looks like this. And even though we're pretty free and we kind of know, like, the Lord's with you always, you still associate when I'm doing worship or when I'm reading or like praying, then I'm spending time with the Lord. And because there's that divide, that separation, you end up going through a whole week where the Lord was with you the whole time and you were with him the whole time, but you ignored it because you were looking for him in a specific space. And because you weren't getting that, you're feeling guilty about it. And because of that, that drives you further away. It's that classic thing, like even in the previous sermon, I used to think of sin like this, but like, when you do something bad, you feel too guilty to go, so you just end up doing more worse, instead of just running straight and being like, oh, I'm sorry, like I did that, let's get back to where we were. As if you could ever get like back, we're always there no matter what. But anyway, we can get into that too. But it's that thing of like, hey, I need to do more now, and then you don't, and then you feel bad, and then you do even less until you're in a spot, and then you need to do more to